Hello, hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Bachelor of Social Sciences admissions talk for 2021. We are so excited to get to spend this time with you. I am Lucy Jordan. I am the Associate Dean for undergraduates here in the Faculty of Social Sciences, and I am going to have my colleagues introduce themselves. Why don't we start right here, please?
My name is Rondi. I'm now a year 4 student. I'm doing Bachelor of Social Science degree. My majors are Psychology and Cognitive Science.
Welcome. Thank you, Rondi.
Hello everyone. My name is Tom from South Korea. I'm a final year student doing Bachelor of Social Sciences, and my major is Politics and Public Administration.
Thanks, Tom. And then last but not least.
Hello everyone, my name is Winky. I'm one of the teachers here at the Faculty of Social Science Experiential Learning team.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Winky. So to get things kicked off, we want to go on a virtual campus tour with you. So we hope you enjoy, and we look forward to seeing you in real life in the upcoming year. So now that you've seen a virtual tour of our campus, I want to start off with a little background about the Faculty of Social Sciences. So we were founded in 1967. We have over 100 professorial staff here at the faculty, and we have a few thousand students. You can see about 1,700 undergraduate, 1,400 top postgraduate, around 300 visiting and exchange students on an average year, and then also around 240 research postgraduate students. We have 6 departments housed here in the faculty: journalism, media studies, politics and public administration, sociology, psychology, geography, and social work and social administration. We have rankings here for those of you interested in those kinds of things. We have the Asia rankings, and you can see we are within the top 5 of all of the departments and different degrees we offer. And then in the world rankings, we also have some quite impressive results. For the undergraduate curricula, today we're going to be really focusing in on 6717, the BSOC Science Bachelor of Social Science. We also have a few other application pathways for JUPAS students, and you can find out more about that on the website and also attend some of the special admissions talks for those degrees. So, Bachelor of Social Sciences 6717, let's take a deeper dive. Why should you choose our faculty? Well, personally, I think there are many reasons, but why don't we come here and start off with you, Rondi?
Yeah, sure. I actually chose Bachelor of Social Science degree because of the flexibility.
The flexibility.
Yeah, after I finished the public examination and the result is released, I actually have no idea what to study in the future.
Okay.
And I know that Bachelor of Social Sciences provide lots of opportunities and choices, and we do need to decide what is our first major in the first year.
Right.
It means that I can just study whatever I want and figure out what my passions lies in the first year.
Right,
Yeah.
right, excellent. So you know you want to study the social sciences, but you can have the flexibility to decide where to focus in. And you can see there's also other reasons about the rich learning opportunities, our exchange and internships. We're going to spend a little bit of time talking about all of these things. And then also, in addition to what Ronnie said about flexibility, I think she also was kind of mentioning the time and freedom that is allowed for you to figure out your passion. So when you come in to HKU, you're going to have to fulfill a number of university requirements. So that's going to be some core courses in university English, also English in the discipline, a Chinese enhancement course, and then there's also going to be 36 credits or 6 courses in the Common Core that you're going to take. So Tom, you want to tell us a little bit about some of your Common Core experience?
Yes, so
Excellent.
I took a Common Core class called Spirituality, Religion, and Social Change.
Oh.
And in that course, we took a field trip to a Taoist temple where we had some meditation exercises. And I felt this something strange in my body, and I couldn't really explain in words. And that experience itself kind of reminded me the importance of Common Core classes in letting you kind of explore outside of classrooms. And I think it's a great opportunity for you to explore, really.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Tom. Yeah, so the Common Core are classes that are often a bit interdisciplinary in nature, and they are geared towards students not having to have a lot of disciplinary expertise and to introduce you to kind of diverse and novel experiences. So that's a really interesting, I think, example of it. And then within the disciplinary major, within the faculty, you're going to fill up with introductory courses, prerequisite courses, as well as advanced courses where you get to really choose some of your specialisms. And then the capstone and your internship, social innovation and global citizenship, all of these things we'll talk a little bit more about as we go through the rest of the talk this morning. And you also can see there you've got 90 credits of free electives. And this is where you get to take a second major, you get to do minors, or you get to just kind of explore all different kinds of things across the campus. It's really up to you how you make use of those electives. So we're going to take another little break here to offer you a warm hello from our Social Sciences Committee. So over to you, please.
Hi，咁啱嘅，你去邊啊？
我出學諗住去字畫。
我都係，我不如一齊啊！
好啊。
行啊！哇，好靚啊！呢對塔，呢度有落地玻璃，仲好開揚，嗰度仲有海景添喎。呢個環境真係好，喺度溫書一定好專心。
唉，好嘢，做完 assignment 啦。我好想 print 出嚟交俾 professor 喎。你知唔知邊度有 printer？
此外有得 print 啊，喺後面啫嘛，你 log in 你 UID 就可以用呢個服務噶啦。
Nicola，你喺邊啊？
我而家喺 UHS 啊，趕緊過嚟啦，好快好快，唔好意思啊。
唔緊要啦，你慢慢啦。喂，話時話，我第一日喺 Main 標上堂，呢度原來咁靚嘅喎，真係唔怪之得咧，啲人咧都過嚟打卡啦。
係喎，真係好靚喎。
咦係喎，話時話乜嘢係 UHS 啊？
UHS 咧即係大學嘅醫療保健處，咁同學咧就可以喺嗰度睇醫生啦、睇牙醫，仲可以做埋物理治療添。
哦，原來大學有啲咁嘅服務，睇嚟遲啲都要用下啦。唔同你講咁多啦，等陣再去 Main Library 再講啦，拜拜。Main Library 又係温書，字畫又係温書，咁佢哋究竟有咩分別啫？
其實呢度同字畫最大嘅分別就係你可以喺度借書咯，到時候如果你想 assignment 借參考書都喺呢度借㗎。
話時話你諗住 major 啲乜嘢啊？
我都未諗好啊，其實有啲咩 major 㗎？
Faculty provide disciplinary major 啦，包括 China Studies、Geography、PPA、Social Policy and Social Development 同埋數字，仲有唔同嘅 Multidisciplinary major， 可以跨 faculty 去揀呢個 major 嘅喎。Faculty 嘅官網睇咯，入面講到明你4年要讀幾個 course 啦，同埋 show 晒 student 一定要完成嘅 SIGC 課程咯。
咁正嘅，等我揀上去睇下先。
咁遲假約咗你？
係啊，遲咗啊。你約咗㗎？係啊，諗住買啲嘢食之後去做 gym 啊嘛。
乜原來你哋成日嚟呢度食㗎？
係啊，我同 Jason 成日溫完書來，因為呢度咧多選擇，有小食啦，有飯團，有便當，真係好正。出邊咧 HKU 仲有好多 canteen 啊餐廳，例如有素食、西餐同埋燒味飯等等。
行啦。
Jason，點解冇人帶我做 gym 啊？
有免費 gym， 設備又齊全，我真係諗唔到有咩理由唔做喎。但係你要喺 CSE 個網度3日前 book 喎，好鬼搶手㗎。
咁好嘅，下次又 book 嚟先。
頭先俾大家睇完一系列嘅大學生活，係咪好想快啲入嚟 Con U 咧？
咁我哋社會科學會都係8、9月份舉行一系列嘅迎新活動，希望到時見到大家啦！
快啲嚟 join 啦！拜拜。
Okay, well, welcome back. Hope you felt the warm welcome from the Social Sciences Committee. Now we're going to take a virtual walk through the 4-year study pathway of the Bachelor of Social Science. So year 1, seems like probably a long time ago now. So what do you remember most about year 1, Tom?
I think for my first year, it was definitely my whole life.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Something memorable?
So in my first year, I stayed in the Shunin College.
Okay.
And I think looking back, it was the most memorable year that I had in my university life. I met so many amazing friends and so many amazing people. So one memorable experience that I had was traveling to Korea with some of the friends that I met in college. And it was during the winter break. So some of the friends were seeing the snow for the first time. And they were so excited about that. So this was such a memorable experience. And I would definitely recommend you join the hall if you have the chance.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I think the first year often is a lot about experiencing new things at university, meeting new friends, learning to be independent, having the opportunity to have close interactions with people from all different kinds of backgrounds. And many of our students will choose to live in one of the 13 residential or be affiliated with one of the 2 non-residential halls. And all of them have different traditions and cultures and characteristics. So the other thing, of course, we're not just here to live in hall, right? We're here to explore our academic interests. So what do you remember about that, Rondi, in your first year?
As I mentioned that actually I have no idea what to study
Right.
before I got into the university. So I took several introductory courses, including psychology. This experience is really fascinating because this is my very first time to use a scientific way to examine human behavior. I still remember that the topic that I work on is why sleep is important.
Right.
And I actually work on this project overnight. Meanwhile, I'm writing that sleep is very important, and I also need to learn some statistical method to examine. So this make me major in psychology and also
Right.
cognitive science.
Yeah, excellent. And that's kind of funny. I'm just thinking about hall life. Like, I think oftentimes there is a lack of sleep that's happening because there's so many exciting like events and opportunities going on. It's the first time you're living on your own often. So, but then, and there you are turning it into a serious research topic too. So that's great. Thanks for sharing that, Rondi. And also, you know, during the first year, as Rondi kind of shared, you're going to be needing to explore your study pathways within our disciplinary majors. So this is when you're going to get that opportunity, like was shared in the social sciences welcome video, to decide if you want to specialize in one of these 5 areas of a disciplinary major. Because everyone, by the end of their second semester in their first semester in their second year, is going to need to confirm one of the disciplinary majors. And in addition to that, we always like to remind you that it's very flexible, right? And you're going to have total selection, no quota, and free choice to choose one of those disciplinary majors once you're here. So I want to tell you a little bit about the disciplinary majors in case they're new to you. So China Studies is going to give you an opportunity to explore both contemporary and historical aspects of social change and development in China. And of course, Greater China as well, including Hong Kong. Politics and public administration is going to be the one for you if you're really interested in how our political institutions play such an important role in our society and in our daily lives. And there's going to be a lot of different ways that you can explore that in terms of public policy, international relations, globalization, justice. Geography might be the thing for you if you're really interested in issues to do with the environment and climate change, for example, or planning aspects, so urban planning, city planning, mapping, issues to do with the relationship between people and the natural environment. Sociology is going to be the thing for you if you're interested in structural features of society, so the economy, political economy, identity, crime, media. And social policy and social development, if you're interested in the way that local and global policies are made and also the impact that they have on people's lives and social development, or perhaps working in a non-governmental organization dealing with particular social issues like poverty, social justice, it might be the degree for you to choose. Then there's also the multidisciplinary majors and minors within the faculty: cognitive science, counseling, criminology, media cultural studies, neuroscience, psychology, and urban governance. You can see there are a lot of different opportunities of things for you to explore during that first year so that you can then make an informed decision in your second year. Besides the disciplinary major, you can also choose to have a double major or 1 to 2 minors offered within the faculty from those selections or across other faculties. And this is just a small example of the diverse offerings across the university that our students have chosen and selected before. But really, the sky is the limit here, and your creativity is the key to unlock your study pathway. So let's look in a little bit more about the decision making as it went along for you. So Rondi, you already began to share a little bit about how you sort of fell in love with psychology. But then how about the second major? How did you come to bring that on board?
Actually, I made this major in my second year because when I studied more psychology course, I found that I lack something. I lack some knowledge, and I found cognitive science actually comprised of computer science, neuroscience, linguistics, so that I can actually gain more knowledge on coding or eye tracking, and to equip more skills on conducting experiments in psychology. Because, for example, when I do some experiments with kids, I can use eye tracker for them, and then I can know where they are making their concentration on. So I think that actually cognitive science can better equip me more skills on my major, psychology.
Yeah, and that makes sense listening to you about kind of how walking through your journey you were beginning to develop a passion for the research elements as well. Yeah, which I think maybe we're going to talk a little bit more about that a little later. And then Tom, so tell us a little bit about your decision making with politics and public administration.
So for me, I was always interested in politics because of my experience in high school attending Model United Nations conferences. And because I enjoyed that experience so much, I wanted to explore more about international relations in HKU. But at HKU, I developed my interest in political philosophy. And actually, I ended up taking more courses in political philosophy than in international relations. And other than that, I've taken courses from many other disciplinary courses that Bachelor of Social Sciences offers.
Yeah, excellent. No, and I think, and that's another kind of interesting story about the flexibility, the time and the freedom, and also the rich learning opportunities. So, knowing that your passion is politics and public administration, but then actually being able to really dive into an area that maybe is a new element for you once you find your passion. So that about wraps up our first year, and then we come to the second year. Boom. So here we're doing what we heard these students did, which is declaring our major. So we're declaring one of those disciplinary major and then also potentially second majors or minors during the course selection period in each semester. And you also will be beginning to plan for and apply for SIGC, Social Innovation and Global Citizenship, Exchange and Internship, which we're going to hear more about coming up. So during the second year, many of our students will actually step forward to choose the Student Ambassador Scheme. And if I recall correctly, I think, Rondi, you did that. Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about, I guess, why you did that, and also then what was memorable about the experience?
I think the most memorable experience is that I can be the mentor of the junior students. Yeah, because I actually hold 2 workshops. The first one is choosing major, minor, and the second one is about the mistake that I have made in the first year. And actually, so many of them ask me what courses are good grades, and then I just tell them that actually, as long as you find your passions, any course you can get a good grade actually. And I think that is really good because it's also a reflection process for me to reflect on in the past year what mistake I've made, what kind of tips that I can give the junior fellows.
Yeah, so it's actually you get to be of service, but also it's kind of a service to yourself because you get to learn and reflect on your experience. And so we always welcome students to be involved in this because I think in many ways actually for a new student, senior students are the most important kind of mentors and guides because they're the ones that are closest to them and can really share a lot of things to help enhance the experience in both directions. So year 3. Winky, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Lucy. So in year 3, many students start to conduct their SIGC experience in this year. At the Faculty of Social Science, we really encourage students to gain diverse experience during their undergraduate studies, especially to step outside of regular classroom training and setting and going out to the community to gain first-hand experience with different kinds of social issues. That's why we have the SIGC as a graduation requirement for all our students. The social innovation, which is about our classroom experience, you can choose either to conduct an internship locally or non-locally, and then to conduct it during the term time as a more part-time nature, or fully immerse yourself into the summertime experience. Also, you can choose from a placement-based internship or a project-based internship. For global citizenship, we have a wide range of options for you to choose from. Many students like to engage in different kinds of exchange programs offered by our overseas partner universities. Also, to conduct a non-local internship, some students would choose to do a research internship or complete in a dual degree. So I know that Rondi, you have completed the GC requirement under the GC at Home initiative. Can you tell us more about your experience?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I intern at Equal Opportunity Commissions for ethnic minority issues. Although I work locally, I actually get the chance to work with people coming from different cultural backgrounds, including Nepalese, Indonesian, and Indian. And even now, up to this moment, I still working with Nepalese colleagues and to teach the Nepalese community Cantonese. And I also work with Indonesian colleagues on some volunteer work empowering Indonesian domestic workers. So I think that actually the unique point of GC at home is that I can really apply the cultural intelligence that I learned in the course in the internship to the community.
Yeah. Thank you, Rondi. And I know that Tom, you went to Nepal for your SIGC. So how was it?
So traveling to Nepal under the Social Innovation Project was some of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. I went there with two girls whom I had never met, and at first I was kind of worried about going to a new environment with two strangers, but thankfully it turned out that we were good matches from the beginning. And throughout the internship, we worked on researching the social impact of labor migration and microfinance institutions in Nepal. I remember being heartbroken when we interviewed a widow who had lost her husband while he was working in Saudi Arabia. And she told us that she tried extra hard to be there for her son so that he will not miss his father so much. And those kind of experiences really made me think about how the things that we learn in classrooms are not just theories. There are real people suffering from these issues. And if you want to solve these issues in a sustainable manner, we always have to take their perspectives into account. So it was definitely a very powerful experience.
Thank you. That's a great sharing, Tom. So as you can see, both students went to have go into the field and really experience a diverse experience under our SIGC program. So as you can see, we have a great variety of community partners working with us. We have more than 160 partners you can choose from. And then also we have a lot of exchange partners that you can choose to go to. You can engage in a full year or one semester exchange, or doing a summer or winter study program for credit transfer to fulfill the degree requirements. And back to you, Lucy.
Okay, excellent. So then we're getting to the fourth year. So here we go into the final run where you guys both are now. So by this time, if you haven't already done it, you're going to be completing any major requirements for capstone research or projects, and then also going on to job hunting or planning for postgraduate studies. So let's see, I think each of you has done or is doing capstone and possibly even something beyond that with a thesis. So yeah, Rondi, you want to tell us a little bit about your experience with completing those pieces of work?
Yeah, actually I finished the capstone course last year because I want to fully focus on my thesis project this year. So actually now I'm working on this. My project is about kids with ASD, autism, and my project would like to improve their executive functions and literacy skills.
Okay.
So I'm very happy to apply the knowledge that I learned in the past 3 years as well as the SI experience, because I also touch on some youth educations, and then I come with all the skills and knowledge, and then I work on this research.
In the thesis project.
Yeah.
Excellent. And then Tom, I seem to recall, I think you're doing like a directed project with a faculty member. Is that right? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so I'm currently working on writing a thesis with a professor from my faculty, Professor Steinhoff, who is a very renowned professor in the area of political philosophy.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I've learned so much from his guidance, and Yeah, it's been a challenging experience, of course, but also I've learned a lot from the experience.
Right,
so,
excellent. Yeah, Professor Steinhoff is actually the head of the department. So,
Yes.
I mean, that's like an amazing opportunity as an undergraduate student to have, kind of one-on-one mentorship in a project that way. But I imagine it is really challenging, yeah.
Yes.
Because, we expect our final year undergraduate students to be ready to take on, higher level studies, right? So, we're really trying to push you up to that next level. So actually, that brings me to thinking, Mandy, I think you're planning to progress your studies, aren't you? Is that kind of so tell us a little bit about how you're thinking about and how that relates to your experiences in the degree.
Actually, I want to pursue a master degree in educational psychology.
Right.
And maybe you can see from my thesis project, I work with ASEAN children, because with autism. And actually, I just think that the courses that I studied, because I also study an introductory course of educational psychology in my year 3, and my SI experience, GC experience, all make me make these choices.
Right.
And equip me with the confidence and also the knowledge.
Right, exactly. And and doing that thesis project is a really good preparatory step for postgraduate study. And then I also seem to recall, I think, Tom, you're thinking maybe postgraduate study, but actually right now you want to get some work experience, right? And you actually have some interviews coming up, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Woo-hoo.
Just next week.
Just next week.
Yes.
That's so exciting. Yeah.
It's very nervous.
Very nerve-wracking too.
Yes.
Indeed.
But
Indeed.
I'm looking forward to the new challenge as well.
Yeah. I mean, well, by the time we get to our 4th year of study, we've kind of we've like sort of mastered university, right? But now, we're ready to step into the next level of challenge. But that always does bring a bit of feelings of anxiety. But at least I think Winky and I are firm believers that we have set you up for success. So we look forward to the positive outcomes from your next experiences. So most of our students are going to end up going into commerce and industry jobs. You can see it's usually about 35%. And are your interviews in commerce and industry, Tom?
Yes.
Yes, they are. So you are reflective of that. And then the second biggest is going to be educational institutions, which actually I could see potentially that could be Rondi's pathway after she gets her master's in educational psychology. And then the third most frequent will be community, social, personal services. And then also we generally have about 16% of students that are going directly into civil services, either here or in some other country, maybe depending on where their citizenship is. I want to take a few minutes to talk about 3 dual degree programs that we have, because there's some important reminders at admissions. So the first is a dual degree program with Sciences Po, which is one of the top universities in France. It also happens to be an English-speaking university, so all of the courses you could take as long as you meet the English requirements to come to HKU. You're going to have to apply to both institutions, so Sciences Po in France as well as HKU. You're going to spend the first 2 years in Sciences Po and then the 3rd and 4th year here at HKU. And you will exit with 2 degrees, the bachelor's degree from Sciences Po France and the Bachelor of Social Sciences from HKU. The second dual degree program is with UC Berkeley, which I believe is Winky's alma mater, actually, right? Yeah. So here you're going to have the opportunity to study at one of the top-ranked public universities in the world, at the University of California in Berkeley. And you're going to need to do the same thing, submit 2 applications, one to UC Berkeley and one to HKU. But this time you're going to spend the first 2 years here with us and then go on to do the second 2 years in California at UC Berkeley. And you'll get the Bachelor of Social Sciences from HKU as well as the Bachelor of Arts from UC Berkeley. And then the third one is yet a different kind of pathway. So this is a degree with Geneva. So it's an HKU Geneva BSOC Science and Master's degree. So you will actually end up here with the Bachelor of Social Science and a Master's degree of Arts from Geneva. At your 3rd year of study at HKU, you will need to apply for this admissions. And if you are successful with the first interview here with us at HKU, your application will get passed on to see if you pass the interview in the next stage. This is a highly competitive and also very unique opportunity for students to join study in Geneva and be able to work with diverse students and diverse organizations. As we mentioned earlier, we are starting a new degree in the Bachelor of Psychology. So I want to take a few moments to say a few words about it. So it has its own JUPAS code. So it's JUPAS 6705 for the B Psychology. And it is a new program that is launched upcoming year to allow students that are already committed to the study of psychology. And you're going to be able to start off right from the start, jumping in to explore in greater depth the field of psychology. I encourage you to visit the booth of psychology for more information about this new opportunity. So a few words about entrance requirements. We're going to look for the best 5 among category A and C subjects. We're also going to, this year, for the first time, recognize M1 and M2 as a full elective. Some of our candidates, under circumstances, might be invited for an interview, and we're only going to offer admissions considerations to Band A applicants. So it's really important, if you want to be considered for admissions to BSOC Science here at HKU, that you make it a Band A choice. For non-JUPAS applicants, we'd like to say a few things about the IB score and the GCE A levels. So for the IB, the 34 is going to be minimum. For the GCE A level, at least 2A and 1B, including English and Chinese language. There might be slight variations from time to time, from year to year, but you can always check the university entrance requirements overall and know that they will never be lower than that. So there's a lot more information you can find out on our website, www.socsc.hku.hk. Everything here about the faculty and all of the kind of specific things around Information Day for different degrees. So thank you so much for joining us today. We really enjoyed spending this time with you, and now we are ready to take your questions. Let's see, is there any HKDSE elective subject requirements for the BSOC Science? So no, there actually are not any HKDSE subject requirements for admissions to BSOC Science. We're going to consider the best 5 among category A or C subjects. And again, remember this year for the first time, M1 and M2 are also going to be counted as a full elective. Is there going to be any penalty for combined HKDSE results of more than 1 year? So the faculty is always going to accept combined certificates of the HKDSE with no penalty for all programs. And the best results of the HKDSE subjects in the year 2021 and or 2022 only will be counted. Is it a must for me to choose my first major in the disciplinary majors, or can I choose my first major from the multidisciplinary majors as well? So actually, students are going to have at least one disciplinary major. So if you're interested in the multidisciplinary major, you'll need to elect a disciplinary major and then choose a multidisciplinary major, like Rondi. How many places are available? So this is always an important question. So for the JUPAS quota, first year quota admission, it's going to be 114. Are there any HKDSE subject weightings for the BSOC Science? All HKDSE subject is going to carry equal weighting. And what is the JUPAS expected score for BSOC Science? We expect and anticipate to admit students with a score of around 25 or above. This is a reference based on last year's figures. Admissions are always on a competitive basis, and the admission scores for each year are going to be dependent on the overall number and also the overall quality of the applicants. So this is not a hard and fast rule, but it's kind of our expectation. So what is the requirement for IB or GCE A level? The expected lower boundary for admissions is going to be a 35 for the IB. And for the GCE A level, it's going to be at least 2A, 1B. And what do I look for in a personal statement for non-JUPAS applicants? So for the personal statement, we're going to be really interested in learning about who you are and also how that relates to your plans, your aspirations of study. So, we're really kind of looking for a mixture of your academic passion, but also your interests and how those things kind of all together combine to create an applicant that's going to bring success to our university experience for you and also for other students. Is there a quota in the different majors? So actually, no. When you are admitted into the BSOC science degree, you are going to have free choice completely about what your disciplinary major is. So we do not set a quota, and there is not going to be any selection process for the choice within the disciplinary majors. I want to know if you think there are some differences between HKU social science and other universities. Well, I think in my experience, the curriculum here at HKU is quite flexible, and the multidisciplinary program choices as well are something that is a bit unique for HKU. And I guess also I think the emphasis that we put on having you explore across all of the social sciences, as well as the university requirements for Common Core, ensure that you have a really broad base of undergraduate education as well as the specialization within your disciplinary major. And let's see, so what are the tiebreakers for the Bachelor of Social Sciences? Okay, yeah, this is an important question to understand. So we're going to give an additional bonus to 5 2-star or 5-star subjects at the tie-breaking level. Yeah. So if I want to study psychology, should I choose the Bachelor of Psychology or BSOC Science? Yeah, this is a good question, especially since it's a new pathway we're opening up this year. So the Bachelor of Social Sciences is a new program that we're launching for admissions for 2022 for the first time. And it is an opportunity to allow students that have already made a clear decision that they want to study psychology. And if you choose the Bachelor of Social Sciences, the main degree, you're still going to be able to declare psychology as a second major. But if you select entry into the Bachelor of Psychology, you're going to have that as your major. And you could still choose to bring in some other fields of study, but basically you're not going to have the choice to do the Bachelor of Psychology as well as have a second major in psychology, because that wouldn't really make sense. Too much psychology. Okay. Are there going to be any interviews? So generally speaking, we don't do a lot of interviews, but from time to time, we might have an interview opportunity if we feel that it would be an enhancing experience for admissions. So what are the percentage of employment and further studies for BSOC Science graduates? So based on our most recently completed graduate employment survey from 2020, the answer to this question would be about 71% went into a professional workplace and 24% went on directly to further studies. And I'd say that percentage breakdown is probably about right, on average for how things go with our graduates. So what are the differences between the Bachelor of Psychology and the BSOC Science with a second major in psychology? The major difference is in the number of courses that are required for the major, and also some special opportunities, especially in the research area, that are provided for the Bachelor of Psychology, the BPsych new degree. So I really invite you to visit the psychology booth for more details, so you can also speak particularly with people that are responsible for the admissions for psychology in that field, rather than the general admissions for the Bachelor of Social Sciences, which is the position that I am here for. So for social science sub-degree students that are entering their senior year, okay, is it possible to declare a major and a minor and also a chance to study from other faculties? Okay. Yeah, so we also admit a number of direct admission students, the DIS students, every year. And you are going to be able to have one major within our faculty. And then it's also possible to declare a minor in our faculty or other faculties. So since you're joining after the first 2 years, you're only going to have 2 more years to study here. So that's why we have to put a sort of cap on the fact that you can't have a double major with it. You can have the major and then a minor so that there's enough time for you to take those requirements for those other degrees. But yes, in other words, in brief, you can study from other faculties and you can declare a minor in addition to your major within the faculty. So is there any preference for applicants that rank Bachelor of Social Science as their first choice? So Band A for JUPAS, yes. And for non-JUPAS, we're going to consider all students first choice or other choices, but preference is going to be given to the first choice. So it's slightly different for the JUPAS and the non-JUPAS students there. Is there a quota on the multidisciplinary majors? That's a good question to clarify because I don't think we mentioned that earlier. There is no quota actually for all of the majors in the faculty. So multidisciplinary, disciplinary major, there's no quota for them. And what about international students? Any quota for international or non-local students? So no, there's no specific quota set for international students with admissions. Are there any more questions? If they're not, you know what I'm thinking we could do is we could kind of come back and see if there's any kind of closing comments, ideas about things that either of you all might want to share. Actually, I think I see another question coming in, so you all can start thinking about that, and I'll come back to you in a minute, okay? So there's another question coming in. Are there any GPA requirements for declaring another major or minor in year 2? Again, that's another important question as well. So no, there is no GPA requirement and no selection process that way for declaring other majors and minors. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, okay. So let's see. Anything you want to share with potential applicants? Any kind of closing thoughts, advice?
For me, I would suggest you guys to enjoy the process no matter what. As you can listen from Tom and my experience. Actually, we struggle at every stage. In year 1, we struggle what majors to declare. In second year, we have struggles to apply for the SIGC. And now in the final year, we struggle with our research project and for the future study or job hunting. So no matter what, I think struggle is a constant process and life is all about struggles. So just enjoy the process and utilize all the opportunities, because if you come to the Bachelor of Social Science, you will get many opportunities, SIGC and so many other exchange programs you can join. And don't feel like you are not deserved for the opportunities. No matter what, just try it first.
Thanks, Rondi. Yeah, Tom, what about you?
For me, I'm actually quite an introverted person, believe it or not. So when I first came to the university, I had difficulty kind of getting new friends and forming relationships, because I think in high school it's very easy for you to get to know others because you're always with the same group of people. Whereas in the university, you really have to reach out and kind of join new events to kind of get to know others. And over the years, I've learned that it's just good to just do it, because from those events, from like talking to new people, I've gained so much more information and so much fun. So I'll say, don't be too shy. be brave and join new events because you'll not regret it for sure.
Like those are really nice, sweet things to share with students about kind of some of your own experiences, but also how important it is at university to kind of keep an open mind and try new things and also try to really just enjoy the process, right? Even if it is hard, even if it takes courage, to just really recognize it's a special time for you to learn new things, meet new people. I see this great question popping up here that people want to ask Rondi and Tom in particular. On average, how many hours of sleep do you get per day during this semester? Yeah.
You want to go first?
Okay, Rondi.
6 hours.
6 hours. Okay, on average, 6 hours of sleep, Rondi says. Tom, what about you?
For me, I think I really value my sleep a lot. So I try to get 8 hours if possible.
Yeah.
But most of the times I'll probably make do with 7.
7.
Yeah, and during the exam week, I'll be getting 4 or 5 hours.
Right. So I do want to ask just a quick follow-up question about that. So Rondi, do you have any observations on the amount of sleep that you all say that you're getting, and what you know about that based on your study of sleep previously?
Actually, 6 hours is enough for me.
You think 6 hours is enough for you?
But if less than 6 hours, I would get angry very easy.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So basically, everybody could have their own optimal amount of sleep time, and then so Winky, what about experiencing hands-on activities in an online setup? Can you share anything about kind of how that experience has been the last couple years?
Yeah, I think in the past 2 years, as we all know, influenced by the pandemic, many of the students went on virtual exchange, for example, and then we have a GC at Home initiative, and then for many of our internships have to be complete on a online mode. But I think as not just the university or our team is adapting, but the whole society is going to the trend of adapting online activities. So I think still in the online setup that we have prepared many, for example, online modules, we have virtual discussions, we have different kinds of online tools that helping us to be equipped of our knowledge and as well as to adapt to even internship setting, work culture. So I think it is we all improving and learning going towards online setup in the past 2 years. So I think we are still gaining experience on that.
Yeah. So then I see another question up here about the career pathways for graduates of the Bachelor of Social Science. So generally speaking, our graduates are going to be working in a variety of different sectors. The majority of our students are going to be working in either the private sector or with nonprofit organizations or with the government. But then there's also going to be about a quarter, of their students that are going to choose to go into further study upon graduation. Yeah. And what would you like to see in our personal statement? Would it be more on why we are interested in the programs, or would it be more on ourselves, right, such as our skills and abilities? So really the simple answer to that is that both are important and both are going to be considered. So we're looking for a match in terms of our program offerings, but we're also looking for characteristics about you that would make you an important and unique part of the community of learning and students here at HKU. So a little bit about one of the dual degree programs. So the dual degree program of HKU and UC Berkeley. So here what you're going to need to do, the first thing you need to pay attention to is the deadlines for both HKU and also for UC Berkeley. So you're going to have to apply to both institutions and ensure that you apply during the right time frame. And then for the dual degree program, HKU and UCB, there is going to be an interview. So you remember earlier we mentioned how there might be interviews. So this is one case where there's going to be interviews. There's going to be interviews that are arranged for candidates in early 2022. And my recollection here too is that we're going to have an interview on the HKU side, and I think there may also be a similar process on the UCB side. So you could end up having actually 2 interviews, and they're usually done in a small group format with some of the other candidates. And because again, here we're looking at not only who you are, but also how you are in kind of in interaction with other students. So for the DCE, what are the subject weightings? Okay, so for example, is it going to be 1.5 for English language or something like that? So actually, we're not going to apply any kind of weighting scheme on any of the HKDSE subjects. If I want to be a psychologist in the future, should I choose to study social science or just study psychology directly? So here, one of the reasons that we are opening up the bachelor's degree in psychology is because it could be important for further studies in professional psychology. Now, I think it's important for you to keep in mind that since we're just bringing online this new degree, the Bachelor of Psychology, Rondi, for example, who's graduating with the BSOC Science degree with a major in psychology and the major in multidisciplinary cognitive science, like she's not going to be disadvantaged on the kind of graduate school pathway. But with the bespoke degree, the new Bachelor of Psychology degree, I guess basically what that's going to do potentially is signal kind of that commitment you've had to psychology right from the start, and so it is possible that could end up to giving you a bit of a leg up into professional psychology in the future. So yeah, what about any difference between the Bachelor of Social Science and LLB and only the Bachelor of Social Science degree? Yeah, so that's a good question to ask, because here we're talking about the general Bachelor of Social Science degree, but early on in the talk we showed you how there's kind of an array of different degrees we offer. So the Bachelor of Social Science and LLB is a double degree that has a professional core in law. And one of the important things to know about this is it's a 5-year curriculum, whereas the BSOC Science is only a 4-year curriculum. So if you enter into the BSOC Science LLB degree, you're going to be spending 5 years, but of course you're going to be getting completion of a double degree that has that professional core in law, and that's the reason for the extra year. Okay, so we have one last question. We have time for one last question here. All right. The lucky last question. For non-JUPAS, if the predicted grade is lower than 2A, 1B, we will not be able to submit an application at all? Okay, so that's the question. So you can still submit the application if your predicted grades are lower than 2A or 1B. But it is important to know that it may be in this case that an interview might be arranged. So yeah, in fact, I can definitely, it's not a guarantee, right? But sometimes, I mean, we all know this, right? I mean, predicted grades, well, first of all, they're just predicted grades, right? So we don't know for sure what they're going to end up being. And, so therefore, we're not going to put a hard stop on saying you can't submit an application. But, we might choose to do an interview for some cases that are kind of marginal that way on the predicted grades. If we feel like that could offer more insight into the candidate's possible success as an entry into admission. Okay, I think that's about all the time that we have. So actually, I guess all that's really left here is just to thank all of you for joining us online, but then also to thank all of you for being here today, sharing your time this afternoon with us, and most importantly, sharing your experience with the future applicants. So, yeah. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.